the best thing to do is to just take it slow and to kind of go at her pace. And
how do you know you're going at her pace?
you have to communicate.
You got to talk.
You have to talk about it a lot. And I talked about it a lot when I first started. And she's like, hey, let's not talk about this so much.
Today, we're meeting with Kat at Katrina Times on Instagram. She came into our world just over a year ago and has been making up for a late start ever since. She has a great story, so kick back with a snack and let's see where she's at.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, wonderful.
So glad you're here.
Have a seat.
Awesome.
I'm ecstatic to see you. Oh, we got. Wait, I'm sorry. What is going on with these tights? Those are really cute.
Yeah, these are. So these are Lael tights. They're the chevron in wine color. My friend Lady B at the Found Fashion, she's the one that turned me onto these. So these are amazing.
I see you on Tuesday's tights.
Yes, this is. Yes. I'm definitely gonna take some pictures. Definitely gonna take some
awesome.
pictures. So
have a seat.
Awesome.
Oh, so we're in. Where are we at? Somewhere. North Carolina, South Carolina?
We're in one of the Carolinas. We are in Greenville, South Carolina.
Greenville, South Carolina.
South Carolina.
So you're from around here?
I am.
Awesome.
So I live in a little town called Belton, which is like probably 30 minutes from here. So
okay.
It's funny. My work's about 10 minutes from here. So got off work, came over here, got ready. It's kind of weird getting here and, getting ready right after work. It's kind of weird.
So what are we going to drink tonight?
So I was originally going to do like green tea shots and make some green tea shots and do all that, but I left it at home. So you guys came through with some rum and
Daddy bail you out?
Yes, Daddy bailed me out.
Well, Daddy, where's our drinks?
Where's our drinks, Daddy?
That's a camera violation.
I like rum and Coke anyway, so that's perfect. All right.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, Kat.
Be bad if I chug the whole thing. Just keep going.
Oh my! So Greenville, South Carolina. You're in the South, and you're
Definitely
dressing up like a wolf. How's that working for you and your world here? How did that even come about? Do they allow that down here?
Well, I mean, you live further south than I do. So, I mean, you live in Florida, so do they allow it down there?
Florida wasn't always the way it is.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. I've been going to Florida a long time, and it's just now starting to get like that. It's kind of crazy, but I don't know. So, I mean, around here, I haven't really found anybody around here that's like me, except for one person, Savannah. That's literally the only person I know around here. So, but I mean, I started out when I was 12 years old. And I grew up I was born in Alabama, moved to Tennessee when my mom got remarried.
Okay.
And the way I kind of got started dressing is she used to work at like a bank, and she used to wear like some really nice dresses, like office dresses. I know you like those kind of dresses.
Yes,
like those,
yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that and the tights and everything, pantyhose, whatever. And so she worked at like a bank, then she worked at like a tax office, and so she always had these like really nice dresses, outfits, and everything. And I'm an only child, and she was a single mom till I was like 8 years old. So she was like the person I looked up to, when I was like 4 or 5 years old. It's probably the only time I could actually wear her heels.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. I would prance around her heels and all that stuff, and I didn't really think anything of it. And then I remember one time I was probably 11 or 12 years old. I was in middle school. I had kind of a hard time in middle school, and So I would get home and I would ride the bus home. I had a key to my house. I'd open up the house.
Yeah, we know about
Yeah,
that.
and my mom, she would always hang her dress that she took off the day before. It would always be on the back of the bathroom door. Yeah, exactly. So I'm
exactly what you're talking
I come,
about.
yeah, I come home. I'm like, okay, go to the bathroom. I'm looking. I'm like, she had this like kind of I guess about knee length. I still remember it, knee length, like blazer dress, like that blazer dress that everyone had in the 90s, with the shoulder pads and all that. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's like double breasted. So I stood up and I walked over there. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So I ended up putting it on, and at that time, I mean, I was a big kid growing up, so I mean, I'm still a big person. But she would, or I, her and I were about the same size then. So I put it on, and I looked in the mirror, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is freaking awesome. Like, this is awesome. So I walked around a little bit, and then of course, 11, 12-year-old little boy shame came in, and I was like, I don't need to be wearing this stuff. So I took it off, hung it back up, made it look like, she made it so that she wouldn't know that I had it on. So anyway, so I would come home, she would have her dress hanging there, and I kind of, got in the habit of doing that. And it was really cool. I really liked it, and I didn't know what to think. Of course, you do that at that age, and especially back then, first thing that pops in your mind is like, does this like make me gay? Does this make me, I'm like, I didn't know what to think. So that's kind of how I got started doing that. And as I got older, high school, everything, I would have more of a chance to be at home by myself. And
so this continued on.
Yeah,
This wasn't just an adolescence thing.
So it continued on until, I was in high school, and we had a above ground pool too next to the house. So, and we lived in the middle of nowhere. We lived like in the middle of the sticks, like 25 acres in the middle of the woods, double wide. We had no neighbors hardly.
Right.
So I'd be at home all day in the summer, and what would I do? I go get one of her bathing suits and put it on and go out and swimming in the pool. I was like, this is
right.
Yeah, I was like, this is amazing. I was like, this is awesome. And of course, when you're that age, you get all kinds of different feelings, wearing this stuff. Right. And I just didn't know what to think about it. All I knew is that I couldn't tell anybody. I couldn't, if somebody found out.
This was Alabama.
Well, this was in Tennessee, actually, in East Tennessee, kind of close to where Megan's sitting over there, kind of close to where Megan lived. But yeah, so I thought, what if someone finds out about this? I'm going to go to school. They're already giving me a hard enough time at school. Right. If someone found out about this would be crazy. It would make my life a living hell. So just kept doing it, felt shame about it, would stop doing it a little while, and then every once in a while I'd start doing it again. And it just I did that throughout high school, and then in college, I didn't really have a chance to do it. The only time I can think of in college when I did it was, remember I was home for the summer, and I actually I remember getting one of my mom's bathing suits and taking it with me to college. She sees this, she's gonna be like, what?
That's where that went.
Yeah. But, and then,
you still have it?
No, I don't have it. I do still like bathing suits though. So. But yes, Megan likes them too. So. But yeah, so that was kind of my whole deal. And then I met my wife in college, and she's a preacher's daughter. So I could not be caught dead doing that around them. I felt like, and there's no way she could ever find out about it, because I thought, oh my gosh, she'll just leave me as soon as she finds out about it, but I don't know. So that kind of, took a seat for a while, and I kind of thought, maybe I'll just kind of grow out of this, but obviously I haven't grown out of it.
So how was that progression? You didn't tell her when you got married.
No, I did not tell her when I got married.
And how long were y'all married before you
Uh,
got serious? Not when you told her, but when you got serious about knowing you needed to tell her.
So just to preface, we've been married for this is our 15th year of being married. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And so I told her last year, but I probably started kind of went off and on, kind of came and went. There was times, early on when I thought, this would probably be a good idea if I told her about this,
Right.
but we were just, I was just so scared to lose her. I just, kind of put it aside, and I was like, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to do it. And I never had like my own clothes. Like I would just kind of sneak her clothes every once in a while and try stuff of hers on. But I just kind of hid it from her. And really it wasn't until 2024, probably halfway through 2022, it really started hitting me that, I've been married to her this long. We're in a really good spot. I just needed to tell her, and I was starting to get kind of depressed, and I was starting to get, really, I guess depression is the main thing. Like I really started getting really depressed thinking about it, and knowing
Thinking about telling her?
Yeah, thinking about telling her, and
Right.
knowing that I had something to hide from her, because we're so close. We've always been so close that me hiding something this big from her, I just knew that if we were going to be together forever like I wanted to, I had to get it out in the open.
Right.
And so it just, just kept building. Towards the end of 2022, I pretty much just was super depressed, was at my wit's end with it. And I actually started, I'd always kind of followed people on YouTube, Instagram, things like that, followed cross-dressers, followed different influencers and stuff secretly. And
Was it a separate account? Or?
no, on my account.
yours?
Yeah, on my account. I just kind of followed them and yeah, I guess seeing other people who have successful marriages who do this, like you guys, and there's a few other ones I can't remember off the top of my head who they were, but a few people I followed that had significant others, had wives, girlfriends, whatever,
Right.
and they were fine with this, and it was something that I could tell, like, hey, this doesn't like make me gay. This doesn't like, which is nothing wrong with being gay. Obviously, I have,
Right.
no problem with that. But me personally, I was always kind of questioning that. Is this something? And then I realized, like, seeing everyone, like, that's not what that means. Gender identity and sexual preference are two
It's
separate, completely different things.
But
so
10 years ago, we didn't even think about that.
no, you didn't. And like I said, when I was a kid, I didn't know what was going on in my head to make me want to do this. But yeah, so at the beginning of 2023, I just, one day
That's just that's
last year. It's
last
literally
year.
a year ago.
1 year ago.
Literally a year ago.
And-
this month.
and
I
so you jumped into this. This is 1 year ago,
yeah.
and you're here talking with the world.
Yep. Hi.
How does that's so much.
Yeah.
That's so much for you,
Yeah. It's huge.
and you can double or triple that for your wife.
Mm-hmm.
How is she dealing with this? How are y'all communicating? People need to understand this because y'all obviously have something that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a lot for a year.
So she has been amazing through this. Like I said earlier, our relationship's really strong. I just kind of got to the point where I felt like our relationship was strong enough that it could handle this,
Right.
And so at first, obviously, when I told her, her and I remember different things of how I told her. I thought I told her a certain way, and she's like, no, you just told me on the phone while you're at work.
No, they always say.
She's like, no, you told me on the phone while you're at work, hey, I want to dress like in women's clothing. It's like, but what's funny is I tried to like kind of ease into it. I kind of,
Started watching RuPaul Drag Race.
Yeah. No, I kind of, tested the waters a little bit. Try on something of her. Yeah, try on something of hers.
Oh, that far.
Yeah.
Not just like watching a movie.
Oh, no. Like, I'd be like, hey, look at this. And she'd be like, you're silly, you're funny. And I'm like, hey, she didn't completely freak out. So maybe there's something else. But no, it really just got to the point where I was just so, getting depressed and worrying about it so much, I just had to tell her. Right. So I told her, I was like, I kind of started out like, this is what I remember.
On the phone?
Yeah, on the phone. Yeah, I was definitely on the phone. If she says I was on the phone, then I was on the phone. But so it kind of started out with like, hey, you know how I like mess around and like try on your stuff every once in a while? I was like, well, kind of got to tell you something. Kind of been doing that stuff like my whole life, off and on, and it's something I really like doing and really enjoy doing. And I want to explore that side of me more. And she's like, okay. And then of course, I was on the phone at work, so I probably left her hanging, thinking about it all day. But she obviously, I know, she probably was like, what is he doing? But so we started talking about it more, and she trying to think what happened after that. We started talking about it more, and of course she had all the normal questions that everyone has, like,
I know you think they're normal.
I know, well,
but they're super important.
They are, yeah.
And I think we almost need a list
that
wives can ask their husbands.
So pretty much like, okay, so you like to wear women's clothing. Does this mean that you want to become a woman? Do you want to transition? I'm like, no, I have zero desire to do that. Does this mean that you like men? It's like, no, I don't. I'm completely devoted to you, and you're the only person I ever want in my life that way. And no, I'm not. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm only interested in you and feminine things, women. And she, trying to think what else she asked. Is this going to be something you want to do like all the time? Is this something you want to live your life like this? I'm like, no, I don't. I just want to explore this side of me. And, but one thing that, I said from the start is that, and I think this is very important for any couple, anyone who's coming out to their wife or girlfriend or whatever, is you have to almost like stop what you're doing and just kind of go at their pace. Because I didn't do this. I should have done this. I hit the pink fog, if anyone knows what the pink fog is. It's like, said, I got the green light. Let's go. Let's order 50 things off Shein, And so she, but you kind of got to just take a step back and say, okay, seems like she's going to be okay with it. Let's ease into this and let's kind of go at her pace. And I had my little moment there at the start where I bought all the clothes and bought, all the, at one point, like bras started coming in, and she's like, "Why are you buying bras?" I'm like, "Oh, just wait till what's coming next." Like, and the boobs showed up.
She didn't know about all that.
And then she's like, "Oh my gosh, we have to talk about this." But yeah. So the best thing to do is to just take it slow and to kind of go at her pace. And
how do you know you're going at her pace?
You have to communicate.
You got to talk.
You have to talk about it a lot. And I talked about it a lot when I first started. And she's like, "Hey, let's not talk about this so much. You're talking about this way too much." And I'm a very obsessive person. And she's like, "Slow down. You have to slow down. You're killing me." Because anything that's exciting to me and I feel this huge weight lifted off my shoulders, it's like I took that weight off my shoulders and just threw it directly onto her shoulders and flattened her with it,
Right.
So it's you just kind of got to take it slow. And yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the best advice I could give. And one thing that, like, our friend Savannah is coming tomorrow, and you're going to interview her. But one thing her significant other said in one of her podcasts is, you can't just tell them things. You can't say, "Oh, I'm not going to do this. This is what I'm going to do." There has to be time you have to show them what you intend on doing with this. You have to prove to them, like I can tell her all day, "Oh, I'm not going to, no, I don't have any intentions in transitioning. I don't have any, I don't intend to take this, live my life all the time like this or anything like that," which I don't want to, because I really enjoy my guy side too. Like, it's like really important to me. But you can't just tell, you have to show. You have to show that you are really going to do what you say. So I don't know. That's
so, like, give them a tidbit. Say, this is me, and then take some time and show that is
pretty much
what's going on, and then pick another piece, and then
and you have to keep her first in your life too. You can't let this become all encompassing and take over your life to where you're doing this all and forgetting about her. You have to put her first. That's the best thing to do. But
so she's a preacher's daughter.
She is.
So obviously there's some religion in your life.
Yes.
And how is this working through on that front?
So this was a big so her and I are both Christians. I've been a Christian since before I met her. This has been a big kind of, not hurdle, I guess, but something that we have to work through.
Right.
Because if you just look at it face value and you think about, like, what a Christian is and what a Christian thinks and believes, it's like, you see cross-dressing, you're never going to put, like, Christian cross-dresser together. It's never going to, like, the average person is not going to think.
Makes sense for them.
Yeah, the average person is not going to think that that's a thing.
Right.
Whereas, like, my thing is that, one of the main things Jesus taught was to love your neighbor and to love everyone. And you can't go through life hating people and hating people for things like this. And I know it says in the Bible at some point in the Old Testament that men shouldn't wear women's clothing. But the Bible says a lot of things in the Old Testament too. But I think our friend Sammy said it best, is she has a video that says, "Is cross-dressing a sin?" on her YouTube channel. And that's one thing that her and I both watched, my wife and I both watched and looked at. And one thing that Sammy pointed out is that God doesn't want you to put anything above him, doesn't want you to idolize anything above him. And one thing with your cross-dressing is that as long as you're not making it an idol in your life and making it like above, you're above God or above Jesus as a Christian, then there's really nothing wrong with it. You're not doing anything to hurt anyone. You're not doing anything to, against anything that the Bible says. And as long as you're not idolizing it and putting it above, God, then it's fine. And that's the same thing with anything, really.
So you came out to your wife a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Who all knows about Kat now?
Obviously, she knows about it. My kids don't know about it yet. Now I have.
How many you have?
I have 4 boys.
4 all boys?
All boys.
Ooh.
Yes, 4 boys under 8 years old. So the oldest is 8.
Oh my gosh, they're all so young.
Yes, the oldest is 8.
Okay.
The second oldest is 7. He just turned 7. The 8-year-old's about to turn 9, and I have twin 3-year-olds. So.
Are y'all done?
Yes, we're definitely done. Yes, that has been taken care of. So, no more kids.
Because if they're 3, you've still got 18 more or 15 more years.
Yeah, no, we're not doing it. We have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. So we
Oh
we
my
have
gosh. Yeah.
4 kids in a
Y'all got a
3-bedroom,
busy
2-bath.
place.
Yes, we do.
So sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. So you haven't told your kids yet.
No, I haven't.
The wife knows.
Yes.
Anybody else? Is that
My
it?
mom knows. I just
Your
came out to my
mom
mom.
knows.
Yes, I just came out to her. I guess a couple months ago.
Was she like that's what always happened to my clothes?
No.
She-
So, no.
Did she have any inclination?
My mom is one of the most oblivious people to things like that I've ever met. And I'm sorry if you see this, Mom, but there's a lot of stuff I did, and she knows about now in high school that she had no clue I was doing. And same goes with this. Like, that's one of the first things I asked her whenever I came out to her.
'Cause we wanted
Was,
to know,
like,
right?
hey, first I kind of led with that, like, hey, do you ever remember when I was a kid, like, your clothes ever, like, not being where they used to be, or anything missing, or
Missing a
anything?
bathing suit.
She's
one
like,
side.
yeah. She's like, no. What are you talking about? I'm like, oh, this is going to be so much harder now. But it's funny. I told her while I was at work too on the phone.
Oh, dog.
But she lives in a different state, so I was just talking to her. I've been thinking about it a lot,
Right.
and
How'd it go?
it went really well, actually. So my mom's very open-minded when it comes to things like that, and she's never been a judgmental person, never been, hateful towards any groups of people. She's always been a really good example as to how I should lead my life, and I'm her only child, and she basically was like, honey, if it makes you happy, I want you to do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she was like, she. It's funny. I was so hard to get the words out when I was telling her. She was like, first thing she said was like, honey, are you gay? And I was like, no, Mom, I'm not gay. I'm like, I'm a crossdresser or gender fluid. I can't remember what I said. And I was like, for real? You never knew I was messing with your clothes when I was a kid? And she's like, no, I had no clue. I had no clue. So it was a great conversation though. And she's been really open about it ever since. And she's like, at first she was like, yeah, your friends can stay in the house. Like, at first it was just going to be you coming up here to interview me and Millie.
Right.
And I was like, y'all just stay in Mom's house. She's got a little house, like, be a free place to stay. And then it turned into a lot more. And it's like,
It's so fast.
yeah. And I'm like, hey, we gotta chill. The neighbors.
That was really, it blew up really fast.
I know it. Full blown girls' weekend now. So, but yeah, she's been great about it. And it's funny. I was talking to her about it, and it was right after. Well, I guess it was less than 2 months ago. 'Cause it was right after the Vegas trip when we went out to you and Daddy's wedding.
Right.
And I was like, do you want me to send you a picture? And she was like, no, not yet. And then later in the day, she was like, okay, go ahead and send me a picture. I got to see this. And so I know in her head, as big of a guy as I am, and big and burly and stuff, and she's like, this can't be good. And I sent her a picture, and I was on the phone with her, and she was like, oh, wow. You look really good. I was like, thank you. I was like, thank you, Mom.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was fun. But so my wife, my mom, and 2 of my friends know. One of my friends is is just an online friend who I've known for years.
Mm-hmm.
We never actually met in person, but she's whenever I was doing Twitch and everything, she was my Twitch mod, and she, we've always been really cool with each other and kind of close. So I told her about it. She was really cool about it, and I guess, yeah, her husband knows about it too, because he's been on my stream and stuff. And one of my friends who used to work with me,
So real quick, you do a Twitch stream?
I used to. I don't really
Okay.
do it anymore. Yeah.
What was it about?
It was just racing. Like, I do sim racing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I would just stream my races and stuff like
But
that
you
on
don't do
there.
it much anymore?
Not really. Not really. I just don't really have time to do it.
I
But
just didn't know if we
I
didn't know if we needed to plug anything.
Oh no, you don't have to plug it. No.
back on.
Yeah. So I have. I'm a truck driver by trade. Local truck driver. I'm home every night. And one of our dispatchers.
That's a pretty masculine
Yes.
job.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, there are a lot of women who drive for us.
Okay.
And so it seems like it would be very masculine, but I guess it's more.
I'm sorry. Are we gonna see cat driving
Oh.
a truck? I mean, I want to see picture of that.
You know, the only way that's going to happen is sometimes I take my truck home. So maybe if that happens, I can go out there and take some pictures driving the truck. But that would be fun. If I drove over the road long haul, definitely. But I'm home every night and in and out of the terminal all the time. So I'm like, no, it's just way easier to get up and just take a shower and go to work. I don't have to do all this. So. But one of our dispatchers, who is in part of the LGBTQ community, we were always really close, for obvious reasons. But we just kind of hit it off all the time. We're really good friends while she was working there, and I always wanted to tell her, but I was always afraid that just somehow it would slip out or somehow, and I do not want that. I do not want the headache of having to explain everything to everybody at work. So, personal life, work life's always been completely separate for me, no matter what I do. So, anyway, she ended up getting a new job, or ended up quitting and moving, and I pretty much as soon as she quit, I came out to her. Yeah, I told her. I was like, "It sucks that you're moving," because she was like, "Oh my gosh!" And it actually turned out that she. I'm not going to say her name because I know that she wouldn't want this, getting out or anything. But she told me at one point she thought about transitioning. And she's actually a Christian too. She went to Bob Jones University. And that's a very, Megan knows, that is a very, very strict Christian university. And she actually said that she thought about transitioning at one point. So we kind of, had the whole gender fluid, gender on the gender spectrum thing going on.
Good conversations.
So pretty much great conversations. So she's been a really good friend through this.
Awesome.
But that's it. That's everyone who knows besides you wonderful people.
So we're going to take a little break.
Okay.
Daddy's going to come out here and ask you a question or two.
You want to come sit in my lap?
And
Oh, yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
that's,
You done finished your drink. Look at you. I've been over here talking. He's slow.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Beautiful. So, I met you a couple months ago.
Yep.
I can say the evolution of cat.
Mm-hmm.
It's been amazing.
Mm.
I have seen you
Mm-hmm.
grow into this persona now.
You were there
And-
my first night out.
Yes, and I love the way that you have adapt now, like have the makeup, the clothes, the shoes, and the shoe collection, the shoe collection. Amazing.
Thank you.
So how do you feel now from the first time that you have done this to now? How do you feel now that you know like a little more of like the makeup, how to do all these, like clothes and stuff?
So like
that?
the first time when I first started and came out like to my wife, or the first time like I went out?
Like the first time that you went out like with just.
Oh, okay. I feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more at ease. Like I'm really good at hiding my emotions when it comes to things like that. Like I remember when we first went out in Nashville, I was just, going crazy on the inside. But me on the outside, I'm just like, whatever, let's go, let's go. And I guess the main thing is that I just feel a lot more at ease whenever I get dressed. I feel like more of a purpose when I get dressed. I feel like I can actually like experience this in real life as opposed to, it just being kept in the behind closed doors. Like I remember when I first, and one of my friends, Kira, who's I met on Instagram, one thing she said is like, before I went out, she's like, it's almost like it's almost like Kat hasn't been born yet, and as soon as you go out in the public, Kat is born. Kat is an actual person. Like Kat is.
I love that.
Yeah, and that's what Kira said, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was like, wow, that's gonna be crazy if that's true. And then literally we walked out the door and we're out in public and we go to the bar and we're just hanging out, and I'm like, Kira's right. This is real now. Like I'm out here with people, enjoying it. Yeah, so. I guess it was, it just feels, I feel a lot more comfortable. It feels a lot more free,
Awesome.
now than it used to.
Awesome. Yes, I can tell the transformation of enjoying the, beautiful time you do was a beautiful cat persona. So another thing that I want to address, Vegas. It was crazy.
Yes, it was crazy.
It was so fast. Everything went like a huge blur of everything. And I do want to apologize for not giving you flowers.
Apologize? I got a flower.
Because, yes, I know. You got after the whole thing, I was seeing pictures and everything. And I was handling all the flowers and all the stuff and to everyone. Like I said, everything was a blur and stuff like that. And
listen, I've gotten married before, and I know that on your wedding day, whether it's your first or second or however many wedding, you don't even know what's going on. You're just like, only thing you could focus on is her. That was it.
Well, yeah, but I'm a kind of control freak and everything. But I did have your flowers, and I did not give them. So
it's okay.
They started okay. So
I got flowers.
Yeah, you got your flowers now.
I got my flowers.
I'm so sorry, and until I
you don't need to apologize. Are you crazy?
Until I see the pictures at the end, everyone was sending to us the pictures, so I was like, oh my gosh, no, I didn't give her flowers.
Well,
and I was like, oh, I feel so bad.
Listen, the flowers are nothing compared to the experience I had. It was amazing.
It was amazing. It was amazing, and we had a blast. And,
yes.
And I hope that we continue our friendship and all these
Absolutely
that we do.
Absolutely, we're gonna keep doing crazy stuff.
Yes. So, a question for me?
I had a few I was thinking of. I think so. Everything is always so focused on in our community on the dressing and this part of it. Like a lot of us just talk about like, oh, makeup, clothes, blah 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 blah. But like I know that a lot of people see your relationship with Olive as like, they only see that side of it. They only see, oh, this is a cool part of their relationship. But like, what's something that you guys really enjoy doing outside of cross-dressing? Like what's something that like you guys have always enjoyed doing? Yeah, well, not normal, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, like how people see it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, is there something that like, and I don't know if this is a great question or not, but like, is there something that that you guys enjoy doing, whether you're dressed or not? Like, is there something that y'all have always had together that you enjoy doing?
Yeah. With kids and the boys' side of her, we love going camping.
Oh, that's cool.
In the middle of summer.
That's what I'm talking about. I want to know,
in the middle of summertime, we love going like in the forgotten, like forest.
Yeah.
We sleep in the ground and do, like get bitten by mosquitoes. And
yeah, of course.
So now all that craziness, we love doing that. The kids enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then they have a blast.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys like camping. That's kind of what I was getting at. Like,
yeah.
Like something that y'all have always done, and besides like people just see, I know people, you guys post like you're going shopping, going out to eat, doing all this stuff, but like something that y'all.
With the kiddos, we like to, hiking. We enjoy that. Well, thank you.
You guys
so
are
much.
awesome.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the flowers.
Oh, absolutely. Let me give you some.
Oh, awesome. My lady.
So, just thinking while you were talking, I'm not seeing a lot of bad times.
What
Have
do you
you
mean?
run into any adversity
Um,
dressing as Cat? Have you gotten negativity? I mean, what are you, besides the random troll online? Everybody just,
yeah.
thank you.
Cheers. Take another drink. Um, no, I haven't really had any real bad interactions with anyone because, for one thing, the only times I've been out has been with you and Megan and the whole
Right,
crew.
other people. So
Yeah,
it's-
other people. And as far as online, um, my wife and I decided that whenever I started my Instagram page, like it's just going to stay private. I'm just going to have, if you're a part of the community, I'll let you
Right.
on, or a ally, then you can be on my page. So I don't have a public page, so I don't get really any like trolls or anything like that online. So I guess I've kind of protected myself
Right.
from that, which is I think a good thing for me because I'm just still, as much as it looks like I've just dove head first into this,
and you got it all conquered.
yeah, I don't have anything conquered. I'm just, I'm still kind of in my shell when it comes to that. So no, I haven't really had any real bad experiences yet, which is
So I just kind of tricked you because this
Yeah.
rolls right into the final three. What would you
Nice.
what would you say? What would you say to confrontation? You and one other person.
um
What how do you feel about that? Would
Yeah.
you? I mean,
um I think honestly I would treat it like if I know I'm familiar with your questions. If you're trapped in an elevator with somebody
right.
or whatever.
I gave you a little bit broad.
Yeah, I know you kind of gave me a little,
Little wiggle
we kind of, I think I have pretty thick skin when it comes to things like that. Overall, it's really hard to, get under my skin with trolls and people like that. I just kind of always just play them off like, oh, they're just stupid. They can do their own thing. One of my biggest pet peeves is when someone is truly enjoying something and then someone comes along and tries to make them feel stupid for enjoying it. And I think if someone was trolling me or I ran into some kind of opposition in public with that, I think honestly the best thing to do is to just try to meet them in the middle and find something that's you've got in common that you can actually like talk about outside of this. Like a lot of people want to like meet it head on and
Counter force with
pretty much
force.
force with force and
Right.
say, this is who I am, blah blah blah. It's like, I'm really good at meeting people halfway and trying to like figure out what we can talk about, what we have in common. And I think when people see that we're just regular people who just enjoy this aspect of life,
Right.
they become a lot more accepting. And I guess the only thing that I've really encountered is living around here. There's a lot of transphobia. There's a lot of homophobia. There's a lot of you're just surrounded by it.
People just cast those negative words out in a
and
conversation.
I
like
guess
it's
one
nothing.
thing that I try to do is that I never go along with that when someone does that. I just always try to make a point to say, like, for instance, my neighbor one time called me and was upset about something, and he was like, started going off about trans people and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say his name, but I'm like, listen, I'm like, so what if that's how they want to live their life? Does that affect you? He's like, well, not really, I guess. I'm like, so why do you care if they're just doing something to make their lives better, to make them feel better about themselves? And he's like, well, I guess I never thought about it like that, stuff like that. And it's kind of what you got to do. You kind of got to like meet them halfway and draw them to your side that way,
Right.
and draw them, to open their minds a little more that way. So, and also like, exposing them to it, more.
I think that's huge.
Is gonna make people, going out and showing people, hey, we're just normal people who just want to live our lives this way and enjoy this aspect. You kind of gotta meet them halfway.
So you said you were in and out
Mm-hmm.
with dressing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to yourself when you were out? When you felt like this wasn't what you should be doing?
That's a tough one for me because, like I said earlier, I kind of waited until I felt like not necessarily. I think I said earlier that our relationship was strong enough to get through this, but I guess if I was to go back and say something to my younger self like that, when I was in that time of depression or wondering if I should tell somebody or wondering what was going on with me, is, I don't know, that's a tough one. I think the kind of stock answer is to just tell yourself that it's going to get better in the future.
Right.
But you can't really tell someone, oh, it's going to get better. It's kind of like telling someone to calm down. It doesn't make them calm down, does it? It makes them matter.
That
So
doesn't
it's
work.
going to get better. Trust me. Well, what about right now?
Right. Right. Yeah, the only thing that matters is right now. You know
Yeah.
that is.
So I guess that's really hard. I don't know. I really don't know what I would say to myself. I think I would just, I don't know. I think I would just tell myself that it's okay to be different,
Right.
It's okay to be different. It's okay to, the fact that you like this does not mean that you're a freak or there's something wrong with you. It just means that you enjoy this aspect of your life, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I used to be whenever I was hiding this part of me, I had a really bad streak of, I guess, I don't want to say hatred, but I kind of compensated for it.
Yeah,
And
we do.
yeah, I compensated for it and showed hate towards these groups of people and went along with that whole narrative of transphobia and things like that. And I think I would just tell myself to take a step back and look at yourself and say, why are you doing this? You got to love people. Going back to being a Christian, Jesus teaches us to love our neighbor, love our enemies, and you're not doing that.
Right.
You gotta be nicer to people, and you gotta love people because you're not all that different from them. So.
And so I guess we're to one question for me.
One question for you.
Sure. Maybe two.
Maybe two.
You make it smooth.
You and I have talked about this before, and I talked about how I have 4 boys. You have a lot of, I don't know, how many kids do you have?
I got 3 boys.
Yeah, 3 boys. So I guess your kids are older than mine, and I know our situations are different. Mm-hmm. But is there any? And I know we've talked about this before, but is there any advice that you would give anybody as far as coming out to your children, or any way to kind of let them know about this lifestyle? Right. And for me personally, I just teach them to just love everybody equally and to be good people and not hate groups of people because of what they like. Like right. I said earlier, that's what my pet peeve is, when someone makes someone feel stupid for liking something. But do you have any advice when it comes to that? That's a tough open-ended question, kind of. But
our kids we had 2 at 16 and 1 at 8 when I told them. Mm-hmm.
That stump you?
You didn't.
It's not easy. Yeah.
It's it's the kids nowadays. It's not. They're so much smarter, even though we don't give them credit for it because they're still stupid kids. But they're so much smarter and educated, not necessarily from our school system, but they understand so much more. That if you're hesitant about telling your kids, look, like you said, look at yourself and figure out why, because these kids are ready for it. The 16-year-olds were like, okay,
cool.
yeah, whatever, that's the big secret. The younger one, he was 8. He was like, okay. I don't know that he processed it all at the time, but because we told him at that time, like now at 10, it's nothing. It's not an issue at all. It's not anything.
Right.
So I can't speak to what the right age is to tell him.
Yeah, I don't think there is a right age.
I've got friends that have told their kids when they're 4 and 5, or the kids have grown up seeing it, and it's not a big deal, and it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we have to get over in our heads when we're going to talk to the kids, is don't make it a big deal.
Right.
Because it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It might be a big deal to us, but in the big scheme of things and in their heads, it's not.
Yeah.
So take your time, go through it and work through it for you. But I think at just about any age they're ready.
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to hear your side of it and what you guys did. So.
Well, it got sprung on us.
Yeah.
We were going to tell them.
I remember you telling me
we were
this.
going to tell them. We were going to tell them. We were going to tell them. And then one of my kids stumbled along my TikTok.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, Dad, what's up with this?"
Dad, you got some cool videos. And I was like,
"Oh no!"
So that day, I told everybody. So
Yep.
I really feel like it's better to be, especially with your kids, be honest up front.
Oh, absolutely.
Be honest up front, because if you're honest with everything with your kids, and they never have to question you, you have so much more validity in anything you do.
Yep.
And so
that's true. It's great advice.
8's fine, but once they start using cell phones, and stuff like that, you might want to think about it, because they're gonna find you.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. From experience. Right. Yep.
Well, it's been awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Kat.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.